part 2 of my Black Friday reviews. As I said before, if you want a full rundown of the all of the deals, you can find that in this video over here, and if you just want to see my top pick, there's a link to that video here. But today we're going in again with some of my reviews from some of the best picks from the deals this week, and I'm going with this one, the Weaponised Ignis. Now, I've done a time in this lap before, and it did a fast, but I think rather underperforming 8 minutes 13 in my original lap. Now, that was a video that I did on weaponised vehicles, and then that's when I realised I've never actually done just a standalone review of this car on its own, which is a bit of a shame because it's an absolutely fabulous bit of kit. So this is based on the Lamborghini Sian, I believe, just with a massive cannon on top. Now, I don't know who had that idea, and I don't know how I feel about that, because this is an odd one, in fact, in that you can get the Ignis. There is a normal Ignis available within the game, but you can't put the HSW upgrades on the normal Ignis. You can only put the HSW upgrades on the Weaponised Ignis. Now, with it being weaponised, that also means that it can be disabled from some races, although in a lot of races you can use it, you just have the cannon disabled. And I'll be honest, I think a lot of the time that cannon should probably be disabled most of the time anyway, because it's incredibly powerful. It really is one of the better cannons in the game, but the range of movement is so small that basically someone has to be standing in front of you and standing still for you to be able to get them with it. It's pretty effective against cars because it will absolutely annihilate a car in a few shots, but as a weaponised vehicle it's not massively useful. I suppose it does allow you to get a few shots in and then run away, but the running away bit is a bit I want to focus on, because this is really, really quick. As you'd expect, all of the Pegasses in this game are quick, but this one, especially with HSW, is blisteringly quick. It's all-wheel drive. It's really, really gorgeous to look at if you sort of squint and ignore the fact that it's got a great cannon hanging off the roof. And it was formerly the fastest car. Well, it's always been one of the fastest cars in the game. But what I wanted to know is, can this take it to the Niobe? Because the Niobe did the fastest lap I've ever done of this track with traffic on. And the reason it did it so quick, the reason it did it faster than the Stinger TT, is that the handling on the Niobe is so much better than on the Stinger TT. Now, I admit the Stinger TT is a car you can get used to, but that doesn't change the fact that it is fundamentally flawed. It's got a really crappy turn-in, and if you lower it too much, it doesn't respond well to bumps at all. And that means that in almost any situation, the Niobe is going to be faster, even if the Stinger would have it. I'll give it that. If you had a very smooth track with lots of long swooping corners, the Stinger TT would probably win. That's the only situation I think it would win. In almost any other race, the Niobe is going to be faster. Now, the handling on this is better than the Niobe, so my thought here was, can this really take it to the Niobe if I give it a fair hearing and a proper lap? And as you can see from through the city section, it really is quite good. It turns in really well, it responds really well, it grips, it's controllable. The only problem with that we'll come back to after this section, because one of the strong points of the Ignis is it has a really, really good top speed. Not the highest top speed, but it has a very, very good one, as we'll see as we do this test. So we'll just get over the start line here. So that little black tar line marks the start line, and then we go through the tunnel around this slight bend, and this usually gives me a really nice straight piece of road where I can keep it maxed out right up until the sign just in front of these silos. Then we can do a really quick bit of maths, and it tells you what speed you can average through traffic. And as we go under the sign, this is what the Ignis managed to do. So in terms of review, customization wise, it's okay. It has some interesting liveries, as you can see, because I don't usually put liveries on this car, but I thought this one quite worked with the orange. Customization is relatively limited. It's not amazing, but there's enough. There's enough to make it feel like your own. But if I'm honest, the real drawback, and probably the only drawback, well, I say the only drawback apart from the price. Now, the price is normally a problem for this car. It's very expensive. However, with the Black Friday deals, this is one of the ones that's on 50%. So if you want one of these things, now is the week to get it. Usual caveat supply around looking after your money because there's a DLC coming. But if you want one of these, now is the week. Absolutely, now is the week. You're never going to get a better offer than 50% off one of these. So let's just whiz up here and we'll talk about the other significant drawback to this, and the reason why I don't think it's going to beat the Niobe. And that drawback is the size of this thing. This suffers from the supercar disease of having a massive fat arse. And sometimes, even though the handling's good, it can be quite difficult to get that massive fat arse through some of the tiny, tiny gaps that GTA Online leaves you. And that's why I think this is going to struggle to beat the Niobe, because a lot of these gaps that I'm smashing into cars in the Ignis are gaps that I would be able to get through in the Niobe. As you can see, it's been a reasonably clean lap so far. But as soon as we get onto the bridge, I'm clipping cars, I'm having to clip the side. And that's just because it's just so wide. But still, brilliant car. And here's the time it managed to do. And here's where it sits on the lap board. Got one more of these coming for you this week, so take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.